If you're hoping to get back together with your ex, there are 5 key things that you absolutely must keep in mind, or else it's almost guaranteed that they'll be gone for good. So in this video, I'll explain these 5 key concepts in detail, and by the end, you'll be in a much better position to start reeling your ex back into your arms. Now, I, of course, am Breakup Brad Browning, and I've been helping people like you overcome breakups and win back exes for more than 13 years now. Through my coaching and my best-selling X Factor program, I've helped over 150,000 people get their ex back, and hopefully you'll be my next success story. Now, let's talk about the 5 critical things you need to understand when it comes to getting back together with your ex. Now, key number 1, you must control your own emotions. Now, I'm covering this point first because it's one of the single most common mistakes that I see people make that has the potential to destroy any chance of ever getting back together. Now, don't get me wrong, I totally get it. Breakups are painful and emotional, and you're probably really hurting right now. In fact, some studies have shown that the pain and heartache of a bad breakup is second only to the loss of a loved one in terms of how much it can affect your life and your mental state. So it's totally understandable that you're going to be feeling emotional and heartbroken right now. But if you want to get a second chance with this ex, you must learn to control your emotions and keep them to yourself as much as possible. There's really nothing less attractive than somebody who's outwardly showing a woe is me attitude after a breakup. And that's likely the reaction that your ex is expecting you to have after this breakup. Now, maybe you've seen friends who post, sad song lyrics on Instagram after they were dumped. Sometimes people will just outright complain to the world about their heartbreak and how their ex ruined their life by leaving them. And again, it's a natural reaction to feel this way, but it's also totally counterproductive to your goal of getting them back. Ideally, you actually want your ex not to know that you're interested in getting back together. If they're unsure about your emotional state following the breakup, if they assume that you want them back but don't see any signs from you to support that assumption, you'll create some intrigue and mystery that will really spark their curiosity. Better yet, if your ex doesn't know that you want them back, they'll likely be more receptive to your future attempts to reconnect with them and probably less guarded about seeing you in person. And key number 2, have faith in the no contact strategy. So if you've seen any of my previous YouTube videos, or if you've watched my full free tutorial video at breakupbrad.com, then you'll know about the 30-day no contact strategy. But despite hearing me rave about the benefits of using no contact to get your ex back, many people still seem to think that their situation is special enough to warrant an exception. But I'm sorry, for 95% of you watching this, no contact is going to need to be a key component of your strategy to win back your ex. Yes, granted, there are a few certain scenarios where no contact isn't advisable, and I've made a video about this type of scenario previously, which I'll put a link to in the description below. But chances are very, very high that you're going to need to apply no contact for at least a few weeks if you're going to be able to get a second chance with your ex. Now, there's a simple reason why no contact is so effective and so important. Forces your ex to feel the full consequences of the breakup without allowing them to slowly learn to adjust to life without you around. Now, a lot of people worry that going silent after breaking up will allow their ex to forget about them or move on, but that's actually a totally backwards way of looking at things. The simple truth is that your ex needs to miss you in order to want you back. And in order to miss you, then you need to disappear from their life as suddenly and completely as possible. And if you're still in doubt about the importance of no contact, just watch a few of my other past videos on this topic. And I promise you that in 90% or more of all breakups, it's going to be a critical part of your strategy to get back together. Key number 3, trying to use logic and reasoning to convince your ex to change their mind. Now, you're probably going to feel like telling your ex that they've made a mistake in breaking up, or that you need to tell them, how much you miss them and still love them. Maybe you'll even feel inclined to explain why things are going to be different if they give your relationship another chance. Now, all of this is very reasonable sounding, but it's also the complete opposite of what you should be doing if you want to get them back. So here's the thing you need to remember. Your ex has already made a decision. Even if you were the one who originally initiated the breakup and you've since changed your mind, the fact is that they've decided you're better off apart. And nothing you can say, no amount of begging, pleading, apologizing, or promising to change is going to help them change their mind. In fact, at this point, doing any of those things, trying to talk your way back into your ex's heart, is only going to make matters worse and further reduce your chances of getting them back. So what you need to do instead is to tap into their emotions and fundamentally change how they feel about you and your potential future together. Now, this happens when you use strategies like no contact to make them miss you, to help them forget about those logical reasons for breaking up. It almost never happens simply with words. So after this video is over, go to breakupbrad.com and watch my full free tutorial video in which I explain how to use subtle psychological tactics to shift their perception of you and how they think about you as a romantic partner. Now, I realize this sounds a bit like psychobabble nonsense, but I promise you, after coaching literally tens of thousands of people like you through a breakup over the course of the past 13 years, this is the only way you're going to get them back. So please don't try to beg, plead, or convince your ex to change their mind. Instead, just use the techniques that I explain in my free video tutorial and in my X Factor program to tap into their subconscious mind and make them feel like they need to take you back. And key number 4 is to focus on yourself and the things that are within your control. Now, this is another point that I've mentioned many times in my past videos here on YouTube, but it's a very important one, so I want to include it here again. Now, there's absolutely no point in worrying or analyzing about things that you have absolutely no control over. So just don't bother. For example, you might learn that your ex has been seeing somebody new, or your ex might block you or unfriend you on social media. Or maybe you'll hear some negative, hurtful rumor through a mutual friend. And as painful as these things might be, and potentially even as damaging as they may be to your chances of getting them back, they're all totally outside your control. So there's no point in stressing about them or spending hours analyzing them over and over in your head. Instead, focus on what you can control. Focus on doing the things that will improve your chances of getting back together, and do your best to just forget about everything else. So while you're engaged in no contact, which I now like to call dynamic no contact to stress this point, work on yourself. Be social and make new friends. Achieve your goals in work or school. Pick up new hobbies or learn a new skill. Hit the gym, get a makeover, buy some new clothes and get a new haircut. Just do things that will keep your mind off the breakup, improve your own lot in life, and make yourself even more attractive and appealing to your ex. And key number 5, don't try to rush the process. Now, this is another mistake that I see many of my clients make, unfortunately. Changing your ex's mind about the breakup and getting them to come back to you isn't usually something that happens overnight. It's a process that often takes weeks or even months. And if you try to rush things, if you try to cut corners or skip ahead, it's usually going to backfire on you, sometimes even catastrophically. So try your best to have patience and avoid caving into your desire to break no contact or spam your ex with messages. Stick to the process, take it slow, and just play the long game. Remind yourself that by being patient and having faith in the process, you're giving yourself the best possible chance of getting your ex to come crawling back to you. Okay, folks, that's 5 key concepts to keep in mind when you're trying to get a second chance with your ex. If you want to know what your odds of success are, now is the perfect time to take my free 5-minute quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz. Once you take the quiz, you'll get a detailed scoring report breaking down your chances and suggesting your next steps. Again, you can take that for free at breakupbrad.com/quiz. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. I will talk to you guys in the comments below. Bye for now.